What's going on, guys? John Elder here from Codemy.com, and in this video, we're going to build a Spanish Language Flashcard app with Tkinter and Python. Alright guys, like I said, in this video, we're going to build the Spanish Language Flashcard app. But before we get started, if you like this video and want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com, where I have dozens of courses with hundreds of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube1 to get $30 off membership with all my courses, videos, and books for one-time fee at just $49, which is insanely cheap. So I know dozens of programming languages, but I do not know Spanish, and I would like to learn Spanish. So I created this little flashcard app that will help me pick up some words. And you can see it's very simple. We can do next, and we have different Spanish words that pop up onto the screen. And then if you're not quite sure, you can click the hint button and you get the first letter. You can click it again. Oh, look at that. And if we type in thank you, click the answer, boom, correct. Gracias is thank you. And then we can go next, go to the next one. Hi. Incorrect, try again. Hello. Correct. Hola is hello. And again, we could do hints, right? And very cool. So a pretty simple app, and we've done flashcard apps before, but this is a little bit different because we're using a different language. I don't know, it's just kind of fun. So I've got a file called language.py using the basic Tkinter starter code that we always use. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor and the Git Bash terminal as always. And you can find a link to the code for this video in the comment section below, as well as a link to the playlist that has pushing 200 other Tkinter videos at the moment. So check that out if you haven't seen it already. So the first thing we need is some Spanish words. So I went over to Google and I just typed in basic Spanish words, and this Rosetta Stone website came right up. And it had these basic words. And so I went ahead and copied these. Now, these are the ones we're going to use. There's just, a dozen or so in there. Of course, you would want to put more if you wanted to. You could also expand this to do phrases if you want. We're not going to get into that in this video. We're just going to build out the framework for basic words in this video. So I went ahead and copied this. And what I did is I made this into a Python list with tuples. So you could make this into a Python dictionary. And then each of these would be a key value pair, key value, key value. But the thing about Python dictionaries is it's really kind of hard to iterate through them. I mean, you could do it with nested for loops and things, and that works, but it's hard to say pull up the 8th item of a Python dictionary because they're key value pairs. They're not numbered items like a list. So instead, we're going to make this into a list, and then inside of the list, each item will be a tuple that has each of these things. So then we can call the 0th item of the tuple to get this, and then the 1th item to get that. 0, 1, 0, 1, as we iterate through the list. And it just makes it a lot easier. So let's go ahead and do that now. So let's head back over here and let's create a variable called words. And this is going to be a Python list. And instead of writing all this out, I'm just going to paste this in. So you can see each of these is a tuple, right? So you can see opening and closing brackets, open, close. And then inside of each tuple is another set of tuples, 2 tuples. And the first one is the first one, and the second one is the second one. So for instance, words, let's say 4, and then say 0, what would this return? Well, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 0th item here would be that, right? We could go 1. Then it would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the 1th item in here would be sorry. So that just makes it really easy to sort of iterate through all these and pull out specific items based on random numbers. So we need now to get a count of our word list. So we could do that. I'm going to create a variable called count, and we could just call len words. And that words is obviously just, this should be words. Okay, so this will tell us how many words are in our word list. And now let's print this out real quick just to see that, make sure that worked. Let's go ahead and print this, head back over to our terminal, and let's run python language.py. And when we do, this thing pops up. When we close it, it prints out 12. Okay, so if we count these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 of them. Okay, that looks good. So let's get rid of this print thing. So now let's generate a random number so that we can just randomly select one of these. So up here, we need to actually import random. We've used this before. So let's go from random. We want to import Randint. So this will allow us to create a random integer. Okay, so let's start to build out our app. So let's create a label. I'm going to call it Spanish_word, and that's going to be a label. We want to put it in root. We want the text for now to be nothing. And let's give this a font of, let's go Helvetica. And let's make this pretty big, like 36. So let's go SpanishWord.pack. And let's give this a pad Y of like 50 to really push it down the screen. We also want an answer label. And that's going to be a label. We want to put it in root. We want the text to equal nothing for now. And we can leave the font the way it is. And let's go answer label.pack. And let's give this a pad Y of like 20 to push it down the screen. And then let's create an entry box. I'm just going to call it my entry. And that's going to be an entry box. We want to put it in root. And let's make the font of this like pretty big, Helvetica. And then, I don't know, like 18 or so. And then also my_entry.pack. Give this a pad Y of 20 to push it down the screen a little bit. Okay. So now let's create buttons. And I want to put several buttons next to each other. So I'm going to put them all in a frame so that we can grid them. We've been packing things up until now, but let's go button_frame. And that's a frame. We want to put it in root. And let's go button_frame.pack. Give this a pad Y of 20. So we want an answer button. And that's going to be a button. We want to put it in button frame. We want the text to equal answer. And we'll put a command in there in a minute. So let's go answer_button.grid. And give this a row equals 0, column equals 0, and a pad X of 20 to give it some space between the next button. So let me go ahead and copy this a couple more times. We also want a next button because we want to be able to click to the next flashcard, so to speak. And then we also want a hint button. So let's go hint button. And this will be hint. And this needs to be in column 1. We don't need any padding there. And this needs to be in column 2. And we do need some padding there. Finally, we need to create a hint label. So let's go hint_label. And that's going to be a label. We want to put it in root. We want the text to equal nothing right now. And let's go hint_label.pack. And give this a pad Y of 20. So let's go ahead and save this and run it. We're not going to see much here because a lot of the labels are empty, but we see we've got a general thing. We've got some buttons, our entry box. Okay, looking good so far. So now let's generate a Spanish word when the program starts. So to do that, let's come up here and let's create a function called next. And this will be, we can either click the button here. So let's give this a command of next for our next button. Or when the program runs, we'll just run this. So we'll come down here and just run this. So let's go run next function when program starts. Okay, so what do we want in this next function? Well, the main thing we want to do is pick a Spanish word from our list, right? So how do we do that? Well, let's come down here and let's create random selection. So I'm going to create a variable. I'm going to call it random word, right? So now we want to create a random number. I'm going to call it randint. And we want that number to be between 0 and the length of our list, which is len words or count, right? But we don't want the whole length. We want -1. Because let's say there's 12 items in our list. Remember, lists start at 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 12 items, but the last item is the 11th item. So we need to take 12 minus 1, count -1. So we're saying, hey, grab a random number between 0 and 11, basically. because we want 0 to be one of the ones, and we also want 11 to be one of the ones. So this will create a random number between 0 and 11. It could be 0, it could be 11, it could be anything in between, right? So we've got a number. So now what do we want to do with that number? Well, let's call that numbereth item. So if, let's say this generates 4. Well, then we want to update label with Spanish word. So our label is Spanish word, right? So let's go Spanish word.config and set the text equal. Now, what do we want? Well, we want to call something from words. So we want words, and then we want a list item. Well, what list item? We want the random word list item, right? Well, let's say this random word is 4. What would this return? It would return 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will return these two things. This is the 0th item, and this is the 1th item of this whole thing. So we want the Spanish, which is the 0th item. So we just come down here and put 0. If we wanted the English word, that would be 1. But we don't, we want the Spanish word. So that really should do it. Let's go ahead and save this and run it and see if that worked. And right off the bat, boom, we get one. We can click next, we get the next one. The next one, the next one. There you go. Looks like it works. Very cool. So, all right, that was pretty easy, right? So now we want to type in something here and then click the answer and test to see if that was correct or not. So let's come down here and let's define answer. Let's pass for now. And then let's come down here and our answer button right here. Let's give this a command of answer. So when we click the answer button, this answer function will run. So what do we want to do? Well, let's run an if statement. Let's say if whatever we entered into my entry, what is that? That's my entry.get, right? If that equals this, but not this, that, right? So we don't want the 0th item, the Spanish item. We want the 1th item, which is the English item. So I'm going to type in an English word here. Does that English word equal our random word number, right? So this is a function and this is a function. This random word thing was created in this function. So this function doesn't know what this is. So we need to make this global. So let's go global random underscore word. So now this will be able to be accessed inside of here. So let's say if this, and this is an if statement, what do we want to do? Well, we've got this, let's see, answer label. Let's update it. So let's go if this is equal to this, that means we got it right. So let's go answer label.config text equals correct, right? And if we want to make this fancy, we can make this an F string and we can go correct. And then we can go that is that. So here we can just grab this. So we can say the Spanish word is the English word, right? Else, let's just copy this whole thing. And let's say incorrect. That Spanish word is not that. So, okay, let's go ahead and save this and run it, see if that worked. Do that pretty quick. It could be a typo. Let me just type some stuff. Answer, incorrect. Salute is not, oh, bless you. We gave the answer away, didn't we? All right, so this shouldn't be this. It should be this, myentry.get. So, all right, let's put that in there. There we go. So, okay, let's go ahead and save this and run it. Try it again. That's why we run these things, to catch the errors. Okay, so let's do this. Answer, incorrect. That is not that. So let's go, thank you. answer correct, gracias is thank you. Now, check this out. I have thank you, I capitalize it. Let's try lowercase. If we do answer incorrect, gracias is not lowercase thank you. So if we look at our word list, we'll notice that all of the words are capitalized here, right? So even if you type in something that's not capitalized, we still want to make that okay, right? So let's come down here and let's put this. So let's take this and slap a dot capitalize function on it. And we can do the same thing down here if we really want to. Okay, so now that will take care of the capitalization. Let's run this again. So this time I will type in lowercase thank you, and now this should be okay when before it was not. So if we click this, correct, gracias is thank you. Even though I typed in lowercase, it's capitalizing it for us. If we then also do something else and then try it again, incorrect, gracias is not, blah, blah, blah. If I do thank you regularly, correct, gracias is thank you. So, okay, that's working. So now when we click next, this is still there and this is still there. So let's get rid of these two things whenever we hit next. So let's come up to next and let's go clear the screen. So that's going to be our answer label .config, and let's set the text equal to nothing there. And let's go my_entry.delete from 0 to the end. That should delete anything in the entry box. So let's save this and run it, make sure that worked. So we type some stuff, we click answer, we click next, boom, that disappears and that disappears. So, okay, so far so good. So our answer thing seems to work. The next button seems to work. Now let's look at this hint button. So first, let's come down here to our hint button and let's give this a command of hint. Now let's come up here and create that function. That's labels, right? So define hint. Now outside of here, I want to create a couple of things. I'm going to set a variable called Tkinter to nothing, and let's create a hint count and set that to 0 because we want to click the button and have one letter at a time revealed. So we need to keep track of how many we've done so far. So we'll need a counter for that. We'll also need to keep track of what we've already revealed. So let's say the word is thank you. That's THAN. So let's say we click the button 3 times, THA. We need to remember that TH and A are already on the screen. So we'll assign that to this variable. So let's say keep track of the hints, right? So inside of here, let's go global hint_count and global hinter because we need these two variables to work outside of here. So global it is. So our hint count will start out at 0. So let's say if hint_count is less than the length of what? Well, remember up here, our English word is words random 1, right? So we can get the length of that. How many letters are in that word by doing that? We can call the length of that thing. So let's say there are 5 letters in the word. This will say, hey, as long as the count is less than 5, then reveal the next letter. If the count is not less than 5, that means we've already given all the hints away. The word is already out there, right? So as long as we haven't revealed the entire word yet, do something. Well, what do we want to do? Well, first we want to take this variable, hinter, and then let's set that equal to hinter plus whatever this is, but the hint_count. So this will return a word. For instance, thank you. This will return the whatever number of the word. So if this hint count is at 2 and the word is thank you, then this will return TH, right? So as we know, we can iterate through list items like that just by slapping on the thing at the end like this. So, okay, so that will keep track of where we are with our hint. And now let's just output that to the screen. So remember down here, we have this hint label. So let's just hint label.config and set the text equal to hinter, right? Now we also need to increment our counter. So hint underscore count plus equals 1. So each time we click the button, we're going to add 1 to the counter so that the next time around, it will add the next word to the hint, right? So that should do the trick. Let's go ahead and save this and let's run this guy one more time. So hola, hint H, E, L, L, O. I click it again, nothing happens. We've come to the end of it. The if statement isn't running, right? Remember this, if the hint count is less than this, keep going. So obviously it's no longer less than that, so it doesn't work anymore. So, okay, so we can then type in hello, click the answer, correct, hola is hello. And we click next, this doesn't disappear. So up here when we click next, when we clear the screen, let's go hint underscore label dot config text equals nothing. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this, run this guy one more time. So let's go hint what? Answer correct. Pretty cool. Click next, everything disappears. Now the hint from the last time is still sticking around. So when we click next, we also need to clear hinter. So remember, hinter is being kept track of. So when we next, we need to go hinter equals nothing. But we also need to come up here and make global hinter and also hint underscore count. Because we also need to here go hint underscore count equals 0 because we're continuing to keep track of the hint count outside of here. So we need to reset that as well. Okay, so clear the screen. Maybe we'll reset hint stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this and run it. One more try. So what's the hint here? Y. Answer correct, right? Hello? Incorrect. Goodbye. Incorrect. Bless you. Correct. Next. No is no. That's a hard one. Click this. Click next. This still works with the hint. It's reset. I can say, oh, I think that's yes. Correct. Next. Who? Incorrect. Where? Incorrect. What? Correct. And this keeps going. Very cool. So that's pretty much it, I think. Now you could play around with this and add maybe a menu up at the top that switched from keywords to phrases. Right here, we're just doing basic words, but phrases might be more interesting, and the same concepts apply. The same hints could apply, all the things. You could add some graphics and make this fun. You can add a little bell or something that dings when you get it correct or goes when you get it wrong. You could change the color of the screen to green when you're correct and red when it's wrong or whatever. Play around with this, have some fun with it. But really cool and a nice little spin on the regular flashcard app that we've done before, but it's kind of boring. This is much better and it will help me learn Spanish. And I need to learn Spanish because I would like to take some trips to South America and Europe too, probably. So that's all for this video. If you liked it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube1 to get $30 off memberships and pay just $49 to access all my courses, over 47 courses, hundreds of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. Join over 100,000 students learning to code just like you. My name is John Elder from codemy.com, and I'll see you in the next video.